morning. Welcome to Field Home Farm Sessions, May 8th, 2026. I had to look up at the calendar, see what date it was. I didn't. I'll write down the episode, get the topics done. Oh, KJ's on. Am I on early today at 7:40? I was getting a little bit of crap the other day because Plumber Scott said, "When are you going to do a podcast? What's going on?" I said, "Well, it's been 6 days, so I know it's been a bit." It's been a bit crazy. Anybody that farms a bit of crops and has some chickens knows that you're getting the fields ready. You're calling for fertilizer. I was actually looking for getting some trees, ordered some trees for the property that we got to do. My kids don't like it when I rip down trees, and I don't really plant a lot. So it's easy to rip down trees, but planting them isn't always the best. So here you go, Plumber Scott. This episode is dedicated to you because you wanted it so bad. Anxious. I'm just anxious. I don't think, I'm pretty damn sure I didn't spell anxious right, but I think there's an X in there, but whatever. Germany and the U.S. are still tuning in. I don't know who is listening from Germany. They've never texted me, but thank you for listening. It might be Roscoe. Maybe Roscoe went over there for a vacation, but obviously they're listening to other past episodes because hello, mystery. Obviously, I was just talking about Germany. There's listening. I said maybe Roscoe's over there in Germany having a vacation. I doubt it because he's getting the strawberries ready. But somebody's listening over there. They're not texting me, and I don't have any info back and forth. But thank you for listening. I am resonating with the Germany. That song "Unstoppable" with there's the speed skater girl there that dates Jake Paul. I forget her name. Anyways, she's Netherlands, but then they do that song "Unstoppable." But I don't know if that's German. It always comes up in my feed. But anyways, whatever. Thanks for listening, Germany, and a lot of U.S. And we can talk about U.S. because guess what, mystery? Buffalo won the first game against Montreal, and I don't care because Buffalo is pretty close to Canada. They are more of a Canadian team than Montreal, I think, and that's just my opinion. My opinion podcast. So go Buffalo! They won the first game. But one team that does have it in. Mystery, I got an email from Podbean saying no live podcast after May 18th. Well, I'll have to switch my format up. If you guys still want to listen to my, still want me to do a podcast, I will keep doing one, but I don't know. It might be on a different format. I will. You email them back, Mystery, and say what the F is going on. And I will do the same. I haven't had time. Like I said, Plumber Scott was getting anxious because I hadn't done a podcast for a while. Hold on, unedit. As you know, it's spring, getting ready for spring. And they ship chickens. I'll get into that too. Haul and poop. That's what I got to do today is haul some poop. Anybody that is in, has a good nose. We were in Guelph the last few days for a Chicken Farmers of Ontario board meeting, and then we met with Ontario Farm Products Marketing Commission. And when you walk outside the hotel, the Delta in Guelph, there is a nice aroma in the air. And if you're a farmer, you know what that smell is. It is a smell of spring. I don't know who in that area is hauling. The only person I can think of that's even remotely close to downtown Guelph would be Eric DePasquier, but he's not that close. He's on Paisley. Is he on Paisley? Where is he, Mystery? I can find him if I can find him. I just don't know the directions. But girls hockey. KJ, is your daughter like done, or she still got a year left? But girls hockey, it's a kind of a lull. It's kind of a lull in the girls hockey because you go crazy for a few months. Next thing you know, if you don't make playoffs, you don't make provincials. You kind of fart around some exhibitions. Thankfully, we did. And and then you just kind of wait. Now it's boys tryouts. I was talking to Miss Richards at Richards Equipment the other day, and her son is playing for South Simcoe. I'm not going to tell you all the details because it's a secret. But the boys tryouts is happening right now. So KJ, she is U18 what? B, double B, C, D, not double A, I know that, but and now she's the one with concussions too, so she better be careful and relax and rest. You will be happy, KJ and Mystery. My daughter, I told her double B. That's the same as my daughter. It's awesome. Double B there's not a lot of pressure because the double A's, they go crazy and they think the girls are going to make some university team or some Olympic team, and the odd one might. But and then you're on the bubble. You're thinking, well, maybe if my daughter or son plays good enough, they'll make the double A, and then they'll play on the Olympic team or NHL or something. But when double B, there's no pressure. It's just like, okay, Mr. Roscoe entered the studio. Mr. Roscoe, where have you been? You have been gone for a long time. Are you getting the apple trees all ready for the hard cider drinks in the fall? That's Summersby. Do you sell to Summersby? That would be the question. Summersby. You just got to watch the sugar content. We were looking at sugar content because everything you have in the house is, if you start examining everything that's packaged, is full of sugar of some kind. Look at the grams, and then they hide it with like glucose and other stuff. And so now we're getting a little more conscious of what we're eating. And on the internet there too, it's whole foods. So if you go to eat your chicken breasts, mystery, your steaks, your ground beef, anything like a whole food that's not prepared with ingredients and preservatives and whatnot is healthier for you than your packaged stuff. So then when you look at, we're talking about the Summersby, just goes way back in the Roscoe and his apples, but those summer bee drinks are very good, but very fucking high in sugar. Like, oh my god, sugar, and everybody knows that my cavity thing before. Everybody knows I like sugar too, but I got to settle down that. So boys hockey tryouts, and then there's spring. I think Dirty Mike's daughter's playing in a spring tournament this weekend. So is Thailand Kevin's for U15, because we are at the U15 stage, KJ. 2 years of U15 and then 3 years of U18. So it's kind of weird for girls hockey. U9, U11, U13, U15, and then U18. Now where's U17 and U19? I don't get it. Do girls quit hockey, KJ? I don't know. And I'm 4-H. I was just thinking of Kate, looking at KJ. I said, I did get my police report, and I am I'm a safe person now. I can 4-H lead and coach girls or boys hockey and everything else. I'm a safe person, but I still have to do something else to do it. I don't know what it is. So, I have down need arenas in the Barrie area. Well, I guess I was thinking about the tournaments that are coming up, these spring tournaments. They play in Canlan, York University, Scarborough, Oshawa will have these Canlands. I mentioned them before. They got 4 arenas in them with a Wild Wing up above, and you can go up. No, it's not as enticing in the morning when you go up. You don't want to have a drink too early in the morning, but in the afternoon is the best time ever because you can go up there, have some wings, have a drink, watch hockey. Everything's good, and why don't they have that? We're lacking arenas in Barrie, and the Canlan is a private entity, private company that builds these arenas, and they make money from it, yes, but we hardcore need one in Barrie, and I don't know why Barrie is being difficult in getting one, but maybe we can do one in Bradford, maybe on the field home property right at the corner. You never know. We could get a 4-arena pad going, and who knows? Well, we're in the middle of everywhere. We're not really in anywhere. So we're far enough from Innisfil, far enough from Barrie, 35 minutes from Barrie. That's where all the population is. Bradford's getting bigger, but not big enough to house like 4 arenas. So Innisfil, Barrie would be nice. Build an arena. Nottawasaga over here built two arenas, private arenas, a few years ago, and they went up just like that. Like there was no policies and permits and town interference. They just went up, bang, bang, they're done. You don't have to have public consultation, all this crap. They just built them. Are they the best arenas? They do have a bar in the one arena, which is not always open because my daughter used to play there a little bit. And they'll probably be playing against them. Oh, I guess the new Tecumseh Ice Cats will have a team also on the A and double. I don't know if they had a double B team or not. They had it listed, but we'll see. We'll be playing somewhere. I shipped chickens on the Sunday night, Monday morning. So you wake up at 2:00. You come out. Usually the trucks are there, the catching trucks. There's one truck there. He gets his crates all done. They come in about 2:40 around there, maybe 2:30. The catchers, the excuse me, get the chickens all moved over, and they start loading them. And they were 2 o'clock. Sorry, they started at 3 o'clock. Two trucks at 3, two trucks at 5, and then one truck at 7. Because they have the two barns, they do a half a truck in one and half a truck in the other. It was a very good night because it was cool outside. They didn't leave too many left over. It went very well. Huey Jen, they were overweight, but that was okay because I was a little under on my mortality. I had a 2.81 average. So I did get a 3 cent bonus because if they're over 2.65. I know I'm talking Huey Jen language, but anyways. Emmett Foster entered the studio. Well, guess what Emmett did? He pushed Roscoe right to the bottom. Poor Roscoe. Hold on. And I did it. Emmett. How's Mrs. Foster today? I had a nice, we had like a short, maybe 5-minute conversation with Emmett's wife there yesterday. She was at the, what do you call that building in Guelph? The OMAF building or something like that, the Ontario building. Emmett's wife, Mrs. Foster, works there. So I text her and I said, we're in the building. Are you working today? And she goes, yeah, I'll come down. What are you? I'm sorry, I'm not doing a girl's voice. I'll come down for a couple minutes. And she came down. She talked more to our chair, Murray, than she did to me, but whatever. She hadn't seen Murray for a long time. So Murray was there. I gave her a hug, said hello, blah, 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 got her done. And then I went, but I had a more of a conversation with Emmett on the way home. I said, well, Emmett, what are you doing? He said, I'm picking stones. But nowadays, when you say pick stones, you're not really picking stones. Like, I was out with the gator last night with the kids, and I was actually grabbing the stone, picking it up, and putting it back of the gator. That's picking stones. Yeah, you do it the smart way, Emmett. You do it. Well, you do have a non-cab tractor, so. But Emmett was picking stones and old rockwood, and the field. Emmett, your field looked beautiful. I complimented on how. I know he didn't do the tillage; his brother-in-law did it, but still. You still have to organize the quality of your tilling. So even if you don't do it, you got to make sure you get the right person to do it. So obviously his brother-in-law is the right person to do it because your field looked good. And he was picking stones and we had a pop. Talked about life, stopped for a little bit. And he's in a Mennonite tractor picking up stones. So getting it done. And farming is lovely. His neighbor was doing, Farmer Tim was doing a bit of tillage too. And it's, you drive around spring and farmers are like little busy ants getting everything ready, working, getting their house built, getting the hay done, getting everything in, and which is what I got to do eventually. It was just there was a little bit of moisture on the ground, so I don't want to get out too early, but got to cultivate a little tiny bit more, and then I got to start hauling some shit, and that should take a couple days. So my neighbors are not going to be overly happy, but you know what? Too fucking bad. That's what happens when you move to the farm. You get a little bit of farm smells. So I seen yes, ship chickens. That was Sunday night. Monday went, like I say, it went pretty good. My procurement guy says, "Oh, these chickens are heavy." I said, "Okay." He goes, "Well, what do you think they're going to be?" I said, "Well, the scale said 265, and they ended up being like 285." I said, "If you can eyeball a chicken and tell me what 0.2 of a kilogram is going to be, then you're smarter than me." But like half a kilogram, you can look at the chicken and say, well, that you can tell a bit of a difference. But 0.2, like, come on, or 0.15, whatever. And my scale's usually a bit over, so I thought whatever. Anyways, you get worried and you're thinking, because if you're with a certain processor, you don't give a shit. This processor, Sarge's, I kind of want to be with them, so you don't want to piss them off too much. So you try to get the right weight, but who knows? So then I was over 6% of my allotment, Hubie Jen. So not hopefully, I'm going to donate 700 kilograms to the food bank. As I went through it long ago that you can, as a chicken farmer and dairy farmers too, you can donate milk. I think Mystery did it back in the day, and probably KJ's brother, and I don't know if Emmett does it or not, but you can donate milk. I never did when I had milk. I was always kind of under, but with chickens, you can order a bit. You can order a few extra chickens on different flocks. You have 5 flocks a year, and if you go over, and even if you don't go over, I recommend donating to the food bank because it does help. It's basically seamless. You get your mouse on your cursor on your computer, and you put yes. Do you want to donate to the food bank? And all you do is push yes. So the CFO or Chicken Farmers of Ontario staff do all the work. They line it up. It goes to Maple Leaf. Maple Leaf gives us they use your 700 kilos, and they say where do you want to donate it? And I usually say Bradford. It used to be Barrie, but now it's Bradford Helping Hand. It goes there. Maple Leaf donate trucks it over there. Now, mind you, if too many people do Bradford and they can't use it, it'll go to another food bank, usually in Toronto because that's where the most people live. But I try to get my chicken over to Bradford. So who knows? But Bradford's not very big. I think they said they use it when we went there last year. They said most people are only allowed once a month or twice a month to use the food bank, which doesn't seem like a lot. But I guess if you get a couple chickens, you can freeze them too, so it helps out too. But one guy was saying how much people abuse the food bank, but when I went there a few years ago, I think it's 5% of people abuse the food bank, so it's not very much. People are using it in a good way, so um, so that went well. You blow down the barns, you clean out the last of the chickens, you clean the barns out, and then now I got to haul it out. So smell is in the air. Haul the poop. It's still cool weather, Roscoe. Yesterday morning, there was snow in Guelph. We woke up. It was like, holy crap. Even Emmett said there was snow. Now, so many people call that a farmer's poor man's fertilizer. Hold on, I got a Chicken Farmers of Ontario text. No, just Scott Chicken. We just text back and forth once in a while, but there's supposed to be some big information, but it never happened, so we haven't heard anything yet. It was like all this information. It's like, why don't you just? It'd be like somebody if you're waiting for somebody to get married or somebody to have a kid or something like that. It's like, has it happened? Has it happened? That's what this is. But it's like, you know what? If you just turn away, it'll happen. It's like last night, Mystery, when I was watching a bit of the Philadelphia Carolina game, and it's just not going well for Mr. Barkey. Like they're down 3-0. Like they were losing 3-1, 4-1 after the second, and I said, "Fuck it, I'm going to bed." And no matter what, you go to bed, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. You're not going to change. You're not going to change the game. So unfortunately, Philadelphia is more than likely gonna lose because Carolina's got a pretty tough team, and Philly has got a good young team. And what they say something about Philly's going to have the Leafs pick for some Scott Lawton. I don't know. I don't follow the Leafs every sentence like Mystery and all these other people, but I think Philadelphia gets one of the Leafs' top picks or something like that. So Philly does have a very good team and a very good future. So even though they more than likely get put out of the second round, they still made it, and they still have a lot of they get a lot of experience from it, and are going to be a good team in the future to come. So. Um, yes, but it it is freaking cold. You wonder. Usually, the people when farmers plant corn and whatnot, they worry about the temperature of the ground, and right now, it's the temperature of the ground is not very warm to plant corn in southern Ontario. I was gonna say Mystery KJ Roscoe Emmett. No, I'm talking about BC girl. Mystery's gone already. How could Mystery have a date at 8 o'clock in the morning? Mystery's got an appointment. Who knows what Mystery's doing? It's not a dentist appointment because apparently he has good teeth. So, Roscoe, where have you been? You haven't texted in or anything. So, yes, Emmett, I got home, and the first thing I did was I got the kids and I said, let's go pick some stones. And apparently, my son is very honest because I said I give him 10 cents a stone, and he goes, Dad, I'm only going to get $2 from picking all that stones. I said, well, we'll just up it to 5. That'll be. And then he had a big smile. And my other daughter, not the oldest and not the dance one, my hockey girl, she went out and picked some stones too. So I think I got to pay them a bare minimum of like $5, and then up from there. You think 10 cents a stone? I think is pretty good. You're right. You're driving around in a gator, and you get to pick stones. You get to drive it to the back and dump it. I don't think it's that hard of work, but whatever. Yeah, they're gonna get the money. They're gonna get the money anyways. You might as well just pay them. Pay them what you're gonna pay them. Roscoe, do you ever pick stones? Who knows? Yes, it's still cool weather in southern Ontario. I know BC, it's a little warmer, but there was snow last night on the ground. But it's in May, so it leaves pretty quick. It's May 7th yesterday, and it had snow on the ground. Today's a little bit cooler. I think it was plus. Hold on, I don't want to give you inaccurate information, but it is +2, and it feels like +0 in not +0. Feels like 0 in Bradford, Ontario. Um, but it's going to be 13 this afternoon, and yeah, but it's at nighttime. It's like +3, +1, +1, +3. Like holy shit! I don't know what's going on with this May, but does that mean it's going to be? Does that mean it's going to be great? Oh, look at all these texts. Roscoe says he doesn't pick stones. That's what kids are for. Yeah, well, kids nowadays, and there's some big ass stones. So we use what we do is they go out with the gator and they pick like the stones you can pick up, and then if there's big stones that I have to pick with the loader, then I'll put a stake like a driveway marker or something there, and then I go out with the loader and pick them. So, and there was a big ass stone, like holy crap, and got that with the loader, but. Um, what you gonna? I said, still cold weather. What you gonna do? Philly's in tough. Montreal sucks. I got all that done. Picking stones. CFO board meeting. Yeah. So, like I say, this week I didn't get a lot done as far as on the farm because I had my Chicken Farmers of Ontario duties as a board member. We had our board meeting on. Actually, we had a Teams meeting on Monday, which is good and bad. But you sit in front of your computer and you don't have to drive an hour and a half both ways. You can just do it in the computer. It's just as good. It's not as informal, but we were meeting the next day anyway, so this was just kind of a update of what we are going to do. And then we had our board meeting, different items. I brought up a couple items. They listened to them. I actually there was a something at lunchtime. There was an issue that came in from a farmer, and because I was at the board and I knew the right person to talk to, we got the issue solved in like an hour. Not even an hour. Our lawyer says, he said, Brian, that issue is done. I said, good. Like it was, and then the farmer thanked me and said, I don't know what to say. I owe you this. I owe you that. I said, no, no. I said, that's my job. My job as a board member. But I said, you can buy me a coffee or something like that one of these days too. So it was a farmer. So those are the type of issues. If you can help, that's part of what you're supposed to do. And then so then we stayed over because the next morning, like I said, we had a meeting with the Ontario Farm Products Marketing Commission. They're a governing body appointed by the federal government, or sorry, the provincial government, and they look after everything. So Roscoe would know about that. So even the Ontario Farm Products Commission looks after vegetables, grapes, grains, every marketing board, the beef farmers, sheep, every single thing. If there's issues, the commission kind of regulates that. The veg board, they are a governing body, so they do meet with their members. So we go in, introduce ourselves, tell them what we're doing. You try not, if there's any issues or something like that, or what do you need from them, it's kind of like it's just update of what's going on. It's usually not. It was my first time doing it because I think they meet with them every 2 years, so it was my first time as a board member meeting with them. So it's just, and as always, I'm nervous, and as always, when I speak in front of people, my face is going to go red, and I just, you know what, I just deal with it now because it's like I'm embarrassed, but I'm not really that embarrassed. It's just my face goes red, and you know what? Fuck it. That's what's going to happen. I have down a urinal. This is a good question. Well, I don't know where Mystery went. I think he bumped off, but this is a good question for everybody because all my listeners and friends have the same kind of a mentality. But so at our Chicken Farmers of Ontario office, it's a brand new office, and they put in one urinal and two toilets, two women toilets. You could sit down, and then I could call them pooping toilet, two pooping toilets and a urinal. Now, when you have break or you have lunch or anything else, what happens? And we're mostly guys on the board. There's like 8 guys and 2 girls, so you all go to the washroom. So we always joke about who's going to get the first urinal. And there's a space for another urinal on the other side. So I don't know why they don't do that. So then we're talking, and apparently a lot of guys now are putting urinals in their houses. Now, Plumber Scott would have to bag me up on that, but I don't know. Here we got a message. It's not Roscoe. Is now, do you guys, because I see online to be Home Depot, Canadian Tire, and they're advertising urinals. So is urinals one of these things? My wife said I could never put a urinal in the house. I don't know why. It encourages you to not pee in the toilet standing up. And if you're a guy, I know we're getting into gross topic, KJ, but this is life. So I was surprised because I've never done it. Usually is on a farm, you just pee outside, generally by a tree somewhere if you're a guy. Not a girl, obviously, KJ, but Emmett, do you have one? No, Emmett's got a barn. I don't even Emmett, you said you had a washroom in the barn, but you never used it or it's never hooked up or something like that. But your barn and adjacent to your house is pretty damn close. But I personally think everybody should have a urinal. And you should have a urinal. I actually do need a urinal in the shop because you gotta pee and it's cold in the wintertime you're out there. So I might just Plumber Scott, let's put a urinal in the shop one of these days. So but guys putting urinals in houses. Oh, that song, I was gonna say that song Unstoppable. Where's she from? KJ, do you know all that? But this episode was 100% dedicated to Plumber Scott because he missed me. He said, "I want to hear your podcast. What's going on?" We'll get a little bit. We're going to start hauling poop. As soon as I get done this episode, we're going to start hauling poop, make the neighborhood smell pretty. And that's life on the farm. Hopefully I get the poop hauled the next couple of days, get the field worked up again, and then I don't know about fertilizer. I'm so on the fence about this expensive fertilizer. I know it's got to be done for corn, but it's like, holy shit, it's expensive. Emmett put on some fertilizer yesterday. I said that's an expensive fertilizer. Emmett goes, oh yeah. Dairy's a bit different. Dairy, you're making so much money, you don't have to worry about it. Plumber Scott, I'm sorry you have to go back and listen. You just got on, but this episode was dedicated to you because you wanted to hear it so bad. You will have to go back and listen. Thank you for listening, everybody. I got to get some field work done. You see all these farmers, as a farmer, you see all these other farmers working. You're like, you get antsy, a little itchy. Thanks for listening today. I'll figure out this Podbean thing. I don't know what's going on. It says no more live stream after the 18th. We'll figure it out. Thanks.